Hello, my name is Susan, and I am the Director for the Central Alberta Pregnancy Care Centre Satellite Office in Rocky Mountain House. Our centre is here to serve the community of Rocky and the surrounding areas. Last year at our dessert night fundraiser, we launched our theme, For Such a Time as This, and wow, so appropriate for this year. With this theme in mind, I wanted to thank you for your support, which has allowed us to continue to provide our services to our local community throughout this time of uncertainty. Our staff and volunteers have worked very hard to learn new innovations and techniques to allow our community members to access the support, education, and connections they need. We are here for you, with information about pregnancy, abortion procedures and risks, parenting, and adoption to ensure each individual has the tools they need to make a well-informed decision. We offer free pregnancy tests, a 24-hour helpline, individual lesson plans for parenting education, male mentorship, prenatal education, and support for those who have suffered sexual abuse, misuse, and trauma. Post-abortion support, pregnancy-related grief support, a maternity home in Red Deer, and referrals for other community resources. All of our programs and services are free, confidential, and are offered in a safe and non-judgmental environment, regardless of age, gender, race, or religion. Since opening 5 years ago, we have had a total of 681 visits and 419 individual classes. This year, we have already had 185 client visits. This is all due to your generous support and the giving of your financial gifts, prayers, and through the gift of your time. Our volunteers and I would like to send a heartfelt thank you for your generosity and hope you will continue to support the Central Alberta Pregnancy Care Centre as we move forward in reaching out to those in need of love and support. I wish you and your family a blessed Christmas and a happy New Year. Next, please listen to some exciting news from our Executive Director, Anne Waddell. Thank you.
An exciting day, and as I mentioned, we've had the great pleasure to make some new friends across the border, and we are excited to what lays ahead. And today I just want you to hear from my friend Angie, CEO of ProGrace. They've done some amazing work, and we just look forward to what lays ahead for us here in Central Alberta and the rest of Alberta. And we just pray to God that it will have an impact across Canada as well. So Angie, why don't you just tell us a little bit more about your background and what ProGrace is all about?
Sure. Well, Anne, it's been a delight to get to know you and the rest of your team this last year, because actually my background is as executive director of a pregnancy organizations. About 15 years ago, I started leading one in Chicago and immediately was faced with tensions. The tension of how to talk about our work in a way that didn't become divisive because of politics, and actually the tension of looking inside at some of our practices and saying, is this really how Jesus would be interacting with women and their families if he were here today? So that led us on a journey actually of changing our practices and how we did outreach in the community, having new conversations, and ultimately wanting to see churches become a safe place to provide support and really grace for women who are impacted by this. And that's when we launched ProGrace, actually, as a training organization to equip Christians through local churches and pregnancy organizations with this new approach.
That's so awesome. You know, Foss, we just feel so blessed to have crossed paths with you. And we did use this last season of things of change to take the opportunity to take on the training. And just tell us and explain a little bit more what is your hope about the training and what's going on here in Alberta and how that's going to serve our community.
Yeah, well, the ultimate vision of Pro-Grace is that when Christians have a grace-centered response to abortion, then we can create a third option to the pro-life, pro-choice divide. We can more fully reflect God's heart, and we can start to create these supportive communities for women and children. And it really all starts with pregnancy organizations like yours, because you are the parachurch organization started by churches. You've been on the front lines for decades. And that's why we focus on training pregnancy organizations to be the light in their community and to ultimately engage their churches in this new approach. So that's why we love working with you guys. We see what you're doing on the ground. You're so integral to this change that God is bringing.
That's awesome. We're excited. We've already benefited so much from the training, and we just look forward to not just through this event right now, but just ongoing throughout the year to just continue to have conversations with our community of all walks, our agencies, our churches, and just equipping everyone to, like you say, have better conversations, have a greater impact in the issue. And what I love, what I've learned so much from you is the ability to express unconditional love and grace to men, women, and families impacted by an unplanned pregnancy, its effects, and, you know, even after an abortion. Yeah. So it's beautiful work. We're thankful. We love what you do, and we're blessed to have crossed paths, and look forward to sharing more of you in the future with our community as we grow our relationship. So thanks again to you and your team. And like we always say, one conversation at a time. Yep. And God's heart will be revealed. Yep. And we'll have a great impact. So thank you and blessings to you and your team.
Thank you, Anne.
Why did God create pregnancy? He could have chosen to bring life into the world any way he wanted. But his design is pregnancy. There's really nothing else like it, where the welfare of two people are so intertwined that it's impossible to help one while bypassing the other. But instead of respecting God's design, the political debate divides us into two camps. One focused on the needs of the woman, the other focused on the needs of the child. What we need is a third option, because somewhere in the middle of this debate is a woman and a child with real emotions and real needs. And if those needs go unmet, she often feels that her only choice is between abortion or overwhelming struggle as a mom. At current rates, more than 1 in 4 women in America will have an abortion by age 40. And the rates aren't that different between those who call themselves Christians and those who do not. That means there are thousands of women in our churches who have or will face an unplanned pregnancy. This may sound unbelievable because you've rarely heard this from women at your church. But isn't that proof there's a problem? Because for many women, the church is one of the last places they would turn to for help. But there is a way we can change this, if we are willing to look inside first. What if there was a third way for Christians to respond? A new way to think about this issue, aligning with God's design of pregnancy so that we value both the woman and the child equally. A new way for us to talk about this issue, using language that communicates God's grace and builds bridges, not walls. And a new way to act, responding with grace the way Jesus would, so that our churches become safe places where both women and children can thrive during and after an unplanned pregnancy. God has a pathway of hope for the issue of abortion, and it's us, it's His church. When we embrace a new way to think, talk, and act, we release His grace, bringing His third option. Join the Pro-Grace movement today.
Well, my friends, the work must go on. Thank you for your faithfulness and your support over the years. We ask that you continue to consider supporting us. For those of you that have been in our banquets before, you were able to support through the silent auction, which is now online. So please go to our Facebook page or to our website to contribute towards those wonderful items that we have been donated by generous sponsors. Or if in the past you've sponsored tables or made donation, please consider to do so again. And the work will carry on. And we'll carry on having more conversations, and we'll carry on having a great impact, supporting with compassion the men and women impacted with unplanned pregnancy and its effect in a loving, gracious way. Blessings to you all until we meet again.